Hey guys, it's Izeiya again with another episode of Ame No Marginal, Rain Marginal. We are going to be going over with Timeout Zone right over here, and we'll see what's going on. In the last part, we went to Lady and to know more about this rainy world and such, and about Rin and everything, and about that lady in the Mistress World and the Mistress World, and the Mistress of the Rainy World, and yeah. It's still a bit, personally, I think, um, I think the whole background and such, because I feel like there's like a little pattern going on here, and it's like, I don't know, it seems interesting. Yet at the same time, I want to know what happens if there's like a population of 2 instead of 1, and the whole, oh, you have 3 days until you go back, and all that wonderful good stuff. So, like, that's what one of the things that intrigues me about this. So, enough about me talking. Sorry. Anyways, let's get a move on. Night. The endless rain continued falling. While listening to the sound of rain, I was thinking about many things alone. In front of me was the girl sleeping soundly on the bench. Just like the previous night, when she lay down on the bench, she instantly fell asleep. At first, I had thought it was amusing, but thinking about how different she was at night, there might be a reason behind it. While vaguely thinking about this, the nagging feeling inside me changed to a big question. When we first met, I had thought about it, but it merely dismissed the idea. The reason being that she knew about elevators in the modern world. Her clothing also seemed to be modern. However, we went to the river today and I saw the things that had washed ashore. If things from the real world could sometimes wind up here, then it wouldn't be too surprising for her to learn about or attain such things. That, the assumption I made earlier, lost its foundation. If I misjudged, there was a chance that she had been here years, or decades. So that was why I was waiting for her to awaken, thinking that maybe the girl from last night would once again appear. We couldn't ask her during the day, but the girl during the night might give an answer. While hoping that she would appear soon, I waited for her to wake up. If my reasoning was sound, then there was a possibility the girl before me had been here since a long time ago. That made me want to ask something even more. To me, this place doesn't seem that bad. Even if you don't eat, you don't die. You don't have to be bothered by sickness, aging, or even time. That because you can only eat it sometimes, it's delicious, that is joyful. Probably she meant that even if you could starve, there was something to be gained. I can understand in a way what she wanted to say. To change one's way of stating it, in exchange for having no sadness, there is no fun, no happiness. It's a question of whether living without anything could be called living. then, in the same way, could staying in this place be called living? Huh. That was obvious. It was to live, not in a world with nothing, but in a world of both pain and joy. Essentially, the real world. I had so strongly rejected it, and even thought that staying here forever might not be so bad. But in just one day, there was a small change in my thinking. According to her, this place was a timeout room. At the very least, I had a feeling it had that effect of causing self-reflection. While vaguely thinking about these things, at some point I drowsily fell asleep. It's her. Before my eyes, she was sitting on the bench looking at me. Her way of speaking had already changed. It wasn't Rin that was waiting, but Rin. Again, how am I supposed to... I don't know how to pronounce that. I know it's like Rin, but it's capitalized, so I have to... Sorry.
それでどう？帰る気になった？そう。ここにいればそう思って当然よ。
I nodded slightly at her words. There were things that I wanted to know more about. And besides that, there was another reason. Seeing better? What? Exactly. It's like the difference between turning yourself in or being arrested. Just what was the difference? Saying that she feigned innocence. But from her words before, I had a feeling the reasoning I had was fairly close to the truth. There was a chance that she had been here for a very long time, a few years, or even a few decades. In a comparison, myself and others go back after 3 days, and by force too. Yet despite that, she constantly urges me to go back. That thing about seemingly, it so seemed to hint at it. Putting all these things together, it led to one answer. Thinking about it this way, it all seemed to fit. believed those words, then she wasn't an agent of God, but a human like me. And also like myself, she had come to this timeout room.
だから言ったでしょ、私は落第生だと。
Had to repeat the class? So that would mean that she wasn't sorry? But were you sent back whether you were sorry or not? Was she special and that didn't work on her? There were many things I didn't know, but a few were certain. That she was just like me, a human that had come here. That she still had no intention of being sorry. That she had probably been here for a long time. And that was all that came back. I had still been in the middle of asking. With that, she immediately lay down on the bench. Wait, so is she aware that she's a different person in a day or something? Rain that continued without end. It continued to fall from the pitch black sky. Mixed in with that zah sound of the rain, I thought I heard a gentle sound of her breathing in her sleep. The next day, once again I got up while rubbing my eyes a little. Apparently, even if you were eternally young and immortal, things like sensations were the same as in the real world. I looked over at the bench to see that the girl had already gone up and was in the middle of hanging laundry out to dry. She's a totally different person. She was humming a strange tune, seeming to be in a good mood. In that laundry, there wasn't much you could think of as clothing. It mostly consisted of underwear. And there weren't many little pieces of underwear. Instead, they were all, how do you say, mostly flashy or sexy. She quickly grabbed all of them, even though she had just hung them up. This is kind of amusing. Well, of course. Things that come here are random. She also said that things you can put on were super rare. Saying that, Granny smiled happily. Is that innocent bright smile that was a big difference in that time. See, there was something I wanted to try. To be honest, I had no confidence that this experiment would work. However, even if it didn't, it was definitely worth trying. As always, rain fell. From the pure white sky, small droplets struck my body. In that rain, we again walked side by side.
なんか悪いですね。私だけ傘さしちゃって。
And plus, from what I experienced yesterday, that umbrella honestly didn't do much of its job. Does it look like it? Well, even the parts that got wet only felt a little chilly. It wasn't as if he felt cold or would freeze. Lyle walked musing about that next to me. Sometimes she would hop up. Apparently she was jumping up over the scattered stones on the ground. It was like the underwear. Wanting something didn't mean it would come. When there was no way to know what would come, there's just nothing you could do about it. It wasn't just shoes. Since I had been headed to work, I was still wearing the dress shirt and slacks. Essentially all the clothes I had been wearing then.
私の場合は最初から裸足だったみたいです。
Saying that, she lightly jumped up again.
でも片方だけでもゲットできてよかったです。
And Rin gave me a bright smile. Seeing her so happy despite being in such circumstances somehow put me in a somber mood. I felt a bit bad for doing this without the nighttime version's permission, but I hoped that what I was about to try would work out. Soon, we could see our destination.
ここってもしかして帰るのですか？試したいこと？
While nodding, I pressed the button for the elevator. It was the familiar inside of the elevator. In this world of age artifacts, familiar things that drew the line with the real world. However, seeing it here didn't feel so much out of place as it felt just impossible to describe. Afterwards, I just have to get on and I'll be able to go back. From all I heard until now, that much I understood.
それで試したいことって何ですか
？Oh no. I know what you're planning. That's right. If this worked and she could go back, then it might be impossible to return. No, better to think that it would be impossible to return. That's why I have to make sure first. stop wearing strange underwear in unfrozen time, even though we jump every week. I didn't know what the nighttime girl Rin was thinking or whether she was here. More than likely, all the people who came before me were also treated like intruders that she ran off. The girl right now, I think the cheerful, honest Rin here really wished to go back. Eventually, the girl who had fallen silent in surprise slowly opened her mouth. Together, the two of us entered the elevator. Upon entering and pressing the close door button, the doors slowly closed. While she was being oppressed beside me, I was watching her surroundings. No particular change. Deciding that was it, I pressed a random button for another floor. But I didn't understand why. But no matter how much I pressed, the button wouldn't light up. I had heard that I'd be forcibly sent back after 3 days, and I could go back at any time of my own free will. Then I suddenly recalled. Timeout room. That's what she called this place. So did it mean people who weren't sorry couldn't go back? But I think I've done a fair amount of self-reflection, and right now this girl here was wanting to go back to the real world. So my mind wandered thinking about that. Or it. Out there was a familiar scene of rain, exactly as when we had gone on. We once again stepped outside, and of course, that boundless world of endless rain stretched around us. I had replied vaguely to that comment, but that was probably the reason. From what she said at night, she has yet to feel sorry, nor was she ever forcibly sent back. I had tried, hoping it would work out, but it seems that the problem wasn't with me, but with the girl herself. She apparently guessed at what I'd been thinking. Her face seemed a bit sad. I frantically struggled to find some words to say to her. But in this case, I don't know if it will be of encouragement or pity. Eventually, she lifted her downcast face and saying that and laughing with a cheerful voice, she hopped over a small stone at her feet. Being happy while getting soaked, holding a broken umbrella. Looking at her figure, you could say it was brave, or perhaps extremely saddening. I honestly thought that would work or something would happen. Oh well. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning into Shugosha TV. This is Izeiya here, and I'll see you in the next part, and we'll go over with Water Marginal. See ya!